Hey, what's up everybody and welcome to another video on my channel. In this video I'm gonna tell you how I went from having 0 placements to actually becoming a Billboard producer. I'm gonna tell you the whole story, what changed everything for me. I'll give you my 5-step process to actually getting placements, and finally I'll also do a quick breakdown on the melody that actually made me a Billboard producer. So if you were looking for a nice video to learn something new, to improve yourself and become one step closer to your dream placement, then this video is for you. Yeah, so basically around 1 year ago I had nothing. No placements, no crazy connections. I was just kind of sending out loops, doing some networking here and there, uploading beats, doing this, doing that, and having no real focus. I didn't know what I was working for, I didn't know who I was working for, I didn't know who I was sending stuff to, so I just sent out to a bunch of emails and expected something crazy to happen, and I really had to learn everything the hard way. The key things that made me get placements is actually knowing who to work for. I know it sounds simple and I know you all make a loop and know who you're working for, but actually it's a bit more complex. So as I said, I was kind of working for everybody. I was making hard samples here and there, I was making R&B samples here and there, some paint stuff here and there, and just everything was all over the place, which is completely good, don't get me wrong. Especially at the beginning, I suggest you to try out everything and to get good at everything, because then if someone, a bigger producer for example, needs anything, you can provide it. But when you actually want to get placements, I suggest you to stay focused. So that's why I set myself the goal that by the end of this year, I want to be a Billboard producer. So I thought about some artists that kind of match my style, because around that time I kind of had that emotional guitar kind of style. So I asked myself, what artist can I focus on? And yeah, then I decided to really focus on Youngboy. So the moment he got out of jail, I made loops for him every single day. I was really studying his sound and was really trying to fit his vibe and just doing everything to get one with him. And that's what really changed everything, to just focus on one specific artist. And also what changed everything is that I knew who I was sending stuff to. So I had a separate list only for Youngboy loops, with only producers who actually got placements with Youngboy, or at least have good connections. So whenever I made a loop for him, I sent it out every single day. So I know it sounds a bit boring, and sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, it actually was, but by the end of the day I would say it was worth it. So if you also have a goal in mind, then first think, what's the best way to achieve this goal? For example, if your goal is to have a gold plaque by the end of next year, then think about what artists are actually getting gold albums, what artists can you provide something for, and then who is working with these artists. Get in touch with these people and make music every single day. That's basically the theory. So that's my overall general strategy, but now I want to give you my 5 key things, my 5-step process to actually getting placements. Yeah, the first step that made everything easier, from networking to actually selling loops, getting these loops picked by bigger producers, is learning the guitar. So I'm not saying that you have to learn the guitar now, but pick an instrument, do something that makes you stand out from other producers. You need to have an ability in order to provide something to people. If you're just spamming Nardo Wick loops every single day, it's way harder to actually build connections with bigger producers than if you actually have an ability. For example, you have a real piano, use it. Use your phone, use your voice memos app, record something on the piano, learn the piano, and then make crazy piano loops. So it literally can be anything. And the biggest difference that I noticed when I started learning the guitar is the reply rate when sending out DMs. Just saying, yo, I do guitar loops or I play the guitar, made it so much easier to get in touch with bigger producers and with more producers. I would never have thought it before. Yeah, and then the next step is, when you're actually making loops, make loops that fit multiple artists. I know you're wondering, because earlier I said that you want to focus on one artist only, and that's true, but when you're making the loop for that artist, maybe think, who else could this fit? When I'm making a Youngboy loop, why not send it out for Rodwave? Or why not send it out for D-Baby, or anything that sounds similar? So another example, if you're focusing on Chris Brown, then make a Chris Brown loop, but also try to find people who work with Summer Walker or anything and send it out to them as well. That way you can always kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because maybe Chris Brown didn't like your production, but Summer Walker did. But creating loops that fit multiple artists and sending them out to multiple artists can make things a lot easier and get you some more placements. For example, when I made a loop for Mozzie, and 2 months later it got placed with Hancho. The song's already out, it's called Intimate Relationships. So you never know who likes your stuff. Make sure you send them out to multiple people, even though you're focused on one specific guy. And then the third step of my 5-step process is networking every single day. I know it's boring, I know you don't want to do this every day, but just do it. Pick a time when you think the reply rate is the highest. For me, since I live in Germany, it's around 10 p.m. in the evening, because then usually the people in the USA are awake. But find your time, and then every single day network, network, and network for that artist you want to have a placement with. As I said, it's a lot easier if you actually play an instrument or if you have something to provide. But after the time, if you're doing it for weeks, you'll find kind of a template for yourself which works best. Now you're probably asking, who the fuck should I contact? And that's pretty easy. Basically, you can just go on Instagram and see who the artist is following, hit all of these people up. If they can send your beats to the artist in exchange for a 50-50 split, then you can go on Genius, see who's producing the artist's songs, hit those people up, ask if they need loops, then find the main producers of that artist, try to find out who this main producer is working with, so maybe whose loops he's picking, and then contact these loop makers and try to send them starters. That way you got movement towards that artist in multiple directions, and you're not just sending out to one group of people. So yeah, as I said, use Instagram, use Genius, be creative, and just try to find out what works best for you. And before we hit the last 2 points of my 5-step process, I want to mention something. A lot of producers get stuck because they don't know what they're doing. They're sending out their stuff to the wrong people. They don't know how to write DMs in their position with their abilities that they have in order to build some good connections. Or they're just unsure if their music is good enough, so they want to improve their music. And that's exactly why I do one-on-one mentorship. But I don't just teach a system, so I don't give you some advice that I will give you in this video. We're gonna map out your custom plan and turn your music into real placements that fits you and your goals. So if you want to know who you should contact, what you should send, how to actually make loops and beats that fit the industry, and how to build long-lasting connections and relationships that will get you placements, then check out the first link in the description. I'm only gonna accept a handful of people because we're really having one-on-one calls. So if you want to become one of them, then check out the first link in the description. But now let's come to the last 2 points of my 5-step process. Yeah, and once you've collected a lot of emails by producers or artists or engineers or whatever, it's time to send out every single day. Be consistent, don't hesitate, don't send out once a month. Try to be on top of their inbox every single day. That way you're gonna get a lot of collabs and eventually of course placements. So I also used to send out weeklies, but once I started sending out every day, I started to get so much more placements and collabs and also beat sales. So send out daily, send out every time you make something for an artist, every time you render out a loop, send it out. Every time you render out a beat, send it out. I think you got what I'm saying. So just be consistent and don't give up on sending out your stuff. And now also a thing that I talked about in my vlogs already is watching stories. Now you're probably asking what the fuck you mean with that. But basically whenever you DM someone to send someone loops, then you also follow them, of course. And you follow them because they got a good connection to the artist that you want to work with. And eventually they will post a story, yo, I need loops for that artist and that style or something like that. And then you're there because you watched all of the stories in your feed and you know who is working for what. Send a pack immediately. Don't wait 2 days or something because then no one needs anything anymore. Send it out immediately. Once you see the story, send out your pack and then you're good. That way I also built a lot of good relationships and also a lot of collabs, and also some placements come from doing that. So make sure to watch all your stories every day. I know it takes a while, probably around 10 to 15 minutes, but do it every day and I promise some people always need anything and then you're there. And they will also keep in mind, yo, this guy is really reliable. He always sends me stuff whenever I need something, and then eventually they will also come back to you when your stuff is good, of course. So just to wrap up my 5-step process, and you can keep it in mind. First, pick an instrument or an ability that makes you stand out from other producers. That will make networking a lot easier. Then make loops that also fit other artists, but also keep staying in your lane and keep being focused on your artists. Then network every single day. DM as much producers, as much engineers, and as much artists as you can. See who the artist is following, ask if they can send your beats to the artist in exchange for a 50-50 split, work with the artist's producers, work with their co-producers, and collect some emails and numbers. Then send out every day, consistently, not just monthlies. Nobody cares about that. Send out whenever you made something. Don't hesitate to send out a pack. And then finally, watch stories, keep being engaged, send your stuff whenever someone needs anything, and be the guy who's always in someone's inbox. But now let's come to the breakdown of the loop that made me a Billboard producer. So yeah, here we are in FL, and I already loaded up the project of the loop, and the loop that I'm talking about is from the song Trap Out by NBA Youngboy and Kevin Gates on the NBA Youngboy and DJ Khaled mixtape Deshaun, and the sample sounds like this. So yeah, as you can see, it's pretty simple, it's pretty basic. We only have a total of 6 layers. And now I'm just gonna break it down really quickly what I did and why I think it got picked. So yeah, just real quick on the guitar, I will also show it to you in the piano roll later on if you don't play the guitar. But basically I start with a D sharp minor, go up to an F minor and then an F sharp major. then I go up 2 to a G sharp minor, and then down 2 again with the F sharp major, and then all the way down to a B major. Then on the second part, I just simply leave out a G sharp and F sharp. And then go up 2. And that's basically it. So yeah, this is basically what the chords look like inside the piano roll. And actually what's funny about it, whenever I use that 2 up, 1 up chord progression right here, I don't know why, but the sample performs really well. I just feel like the people really like this one. And yeah, after that I layered the guitar with a pad from Sky Keys, which is called Right Tones, and sounds like this. Yeah, just a little synth sound to fill everything up. On top I added 2 guitars. And yeah, finally just a violin and a bass. The reason I think this loop got picked is, as I said, the chord progression, I don't know why, but it works well. And then also because it's so simple. I just used 6 layers and they all sound good together, so nothing is clashing or sounds too full. And then finally, because of the mix, the guitar tone is good, nothing sounds damp, nothing sounds muddy. So this is also really important when you send out your loops. And yeah, I would say that was it for this video, just a little educational video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something from it. If yes, let me know down below in the comments. And remember, if you're struggling to get placements, feel free to check out my one-on-one mentorship. Let's build you a custom plan, let's level up, let's get you some placements. But with that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.